Hello, welcome to Do It Yourself with Wayne. Today we're out here in our camper and we've got a little problem with our workspace here. This is the only space we've got for food prep. It's about 2 feet square. Basically 23 by 25 inches or something like that, but roughly it's 2 feet square. And you know, when you start preparing food, you can get by with it, but it's just not enough space, so we wanted more room. And what I bought this from Campco. It's got a nice little bracket that comes on the back of it where you can mount it over here and it'll flip up and down. But the more I thought about and was working toward installing this, the less I liked it. Because for starters, you know, about 2 inches of it's going to end up under the cabinet. Okay, see how it goes under there? So we're going to end up with less than a square foot of space here. And like I said, the more I thought about it, the less I liked it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this shelf that we bought from Campco. I just don't think it's right for us. So what I did, I figured out how this can be my shelf. This is basically 12 inches by 42 inches. Gives us a lot more workspace. And I'm going to show you how I mount it right there. So anyway, like I said, this is Do It Yourself with Wayne. We're all about showing you how to do things yourself to save money. If you like saving money, please subscribe to our channel, because that's what we help you do, is save money by doing things yourself. And also, if you like this video, please click like on it and share it with your friends. I'm sure you got friends out there that could find some use for an extra shelf space somewhere that could enjoy this, but please share it with your friends. So anyway, let's get on with this, and I'll show you how I'm going to install this so that it's removable very easily to get it out of our way when we don't need it, and put it in place when we do need it. Now, in getting started with installing the shelf I showed you, the first thing I did is I went to Lowe's to buy shelving brackets. I bought this piece, which this and this was one piece. I cut it in half. I did have to drill an extra hole in each one for mounting, but that's no big deal. Just drill a hole, put a screw in it. I bought these 2 brackets that mount in here, like so. I'll show you a little bit more about that in a minute, because it's not as easy as what I just showed you. And then I bought the one shelf. And I'd really like to say thank you for the lady at Lowe's that helped me out. She was very helpful, very knowledgeable about her product. And the thing that kind of surprised me about Lowe's was all their shelves were not in the same place. So without her help, I probably would have left and went to another store and shopped somewhere else. But you know, this lady at Lowe's, and I apologize, ma'am, I don't remember your name. It might have been Sandra, but I'm not sure. But she was very helpful and very pleasant to work with, and I really appreciate it. But anyway, I bought this, I cut it in half, I bought these 2 brackets, and I bought the shelf. And these parts are not particularly expensive, but that's what I got. And the first problem is, you hear that? You can tell by the sound that's really thin. You hear that? I'll show you why it sounds different here in just a minute. This is the inside of the cabinet, and that right there is the sidewall of the cabinet. And that material is very thin. I knew if I mounted the brackets that go on the outside of the cabinet just to that, the screws would pull out very easily. So I cut these pieces of 2x4, and they're about the same height as the brackets are that are be on the outside. And I used some epoxy, some JB Weld, and I glued them to that side panel. And that will give the screws that hold the brackets on the outside something substantial to go into, so I won't have to worry about the screws pulling out over time. Now at this point, I got the back side of this cabinet reinforced with my 2x4s. I got my 2 brackets here mounted, making sure that they're the same height so my shelf will be level. And I'm going to put these on here. And when you put these on, just give them a little tap with the soft side of a hammer. Don't use something hard or you'll damage them. And that's all it takes. And then I bought this shelf, and when I bought the shelf, it was 6 feet long. So I put it on here, decided how long I wanted it. I decided to cut it here, but I wanted to make sure if you do this, these shelves have a finished edge. Make sure you cut it in such a way that your finished edge will be out here, because this edge back here is the one I cut. So if you do this, just make sure that you cut the edge that's going to be back there, so you got your nice finished edge back out here. So then I cut it. I got like, I think 16 inches, I think, past the edge of our cabinet. So that's where my shelf goes. Now I just make sure that I cut it straight. So now that pretty much finishes everything up for the most part. I got my 2x4s reinforcing the back of the side cabinet here, so when I mount these brackets here, they'll have something sturdy to mount into. I took a great care to make sure that they're the same height, because I want my shelf to be level. And the way you install these things, and most people have probably done this, you just take a little something, don't use something hard like a hammer. Backside of a screwdriver works great. A piece of wood will work. But just something, just put it in there and tap it down. Now my shelf, the shelf that I purchased was 6 feet long, so I had to cut some of it off. And these shelves are finished all the way around. And so I decided which side I wanted up, because sometimes one side is a little different than the other. I wanted this side up, but I wanted this edge to be the finished edge. So I made sure that when I cut it, I cut that end off. If I had cut this end off and used that end, I would have had a bad spot in my wood right along in here, and I didn't want that. So give it some thought before you cut these things, if you have to cut it, about how you want it placed so that you have a good finished edge here and your nice side up. But anyway, I cut it. So that's our shelf. So when we're working here, we got all this extra space here that we didn't have before. It's probably about 3.5 square feet of extra space. And remember, we only had 4 square feet here that came with the camper. I've almost doubled my workspace by adding this. Not quite, but close. And when we're through with it, to take it down, all we got to do is lift this up. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention, because of the way I mounted my brackets, this shelf extends under this shelf just a little bit. See how it goes under there? Now the good thing about that is if you push too much here, this end can't flip up, because there's a bracket here, but there's nothing over here underneath this. Okay, this is important. There's nothing underneath this. So if it wasn't under here, you push down here, that end's going to flip up. But because I designed it, or put it together anyway, so that this shelf fits under this one, put weight here, that end doesn't raise up. And it can't go that way because these brackets here got that little lip on the end, so that the shelf can't go that way. But when you want to take it down, when you're through using your extra workspace to take it down, you just lift up a little bit and out. And we're probably going to store that right there. Screwdriver. And that's all it takes to take the shelf down when we don't need it anymore. We don't want to leave it there because it makes it hard to get around the bed. But when you're doing food prep and you need that extra space, it's real easy to put it up. So anyway, that's our video for how to add shelf space or how to add workspace to your kitchen if you don't have enough in your camper, and do it easily, economically, and do it yourself. So again, if you enjoy this, please click like and share it with your friends, and please subscribe to our channel. It helps us grow, but it also helps you find more ways to save money. So at this point, I'd like to say thank you for visiting Bucket or Do It Yourself with Wayne. Sorry about that. Our other channel is Bucket List Time with Ann and Wayne. If you're interested in travel destinations, check that out. We'll also put a link at the bottom. And over time, if this project works out, or if it doesn't work out, if we have to modify it more, if we like it, we don't like it, we'll add a description, or add to the description under this video over time if we have problems or we have to modify it more. Just to let you know if it works or it doesn't work. So watch for that. And thank you for visiting Do It Yourself with Wayne.